Everyday People. Real talk, no filter.
Hello and welcome to Everyday's People. This is the second part of the first episode on friendship. Yeah, we discuss friendship as you will recall. We talk about the emotional aspect, we talk about the transition or the involvement or separation, and we talk about the fact that do you still have friends that you started with from the past that are still in your life, and if not, what happened? And did you mourn the separation, or you think that you accepted it the way it ought to be, that we evolve and we change with time, and we've been sharing our personal story with respect to that. And Mimi, on the first episode, towards the end, she talked about her own experience, and I just want to catch up with that and ask you. So, for example, like you talk about emotional disconnection as well,
Yeah,
especially when you moved to the UK. There are a lot of people that you were not
yeah.
engaged with like before. I mean,
Emotionally, yeah.
emotionally, yeah. I mean, did it ever occur to you that they were deliberately staying away from you, or you felt like it is a normal course of evolution happening in your life?
I think for me, I didn't think that it was the normal course of evolution. And to be fair, I had a couple of conversations with one of the friends to say that, look, this is not how the friendship was, and this is where it's heading. And we had a very frank conversation, and we did speak and said, oh, I'm going to do better, we're going to do this, but it still didn't, like, it wasn't at first. So I think that sometimes this is what I've come to know, come to accept, that it is okay for a friendship to end. Not that you've lost the person is no
Yeah.
longer your friend. That's what I've come to realize.
Mm.
It's just that maybe the dynamics of your friendship has changed. The emotional level that you were is different, but that doesn't mean that the person is no longer your friend. And for me, it is okay to accept that, because that is life. And I think back about the happy memories, and not for the lost, but also, even though human as I am, I wish that we still have that friendship. But I think some looking back, it's okay. And I think it's okay for you to grieve that you lost a friend. It's nice to say that, oh, this my friend I've known for 30 years. We do everything together. Even I've moved countries, we are still friends. But it's life. It's life. So yes, I think it's sometimes okay to accept it. But then there are times that you can fight for it and also can put in the work. So for me, I've come to that realization. But I'll ask you, if you see that friendship is going that way, do you just sit back, or how do you maneuver that situation? Are you just happy to go, like, let this die a natural death? Or you fight for it?
I think like I mean, for us guys, I don't know,
Yeah,
but
it's
maybe
different.
it's every guy. But for me, it's like if it's there, it's not, it's there. You wish, for example, that the relationship will keep being active. But if
Yeah,
it doesn't, I also, like I always say, I respect people's opinion and
yeah,
decision. If, for example, like I do a very careful observation and I realize that the person is deliberately avoiding you,
yeah,
then I and I think, I don't know, but I think I'm blessed enough to see that there are certain friendships that aren't active as they used to be, because
yeah,
maybe they were trying to avoid you for one or two reasons best known to
yeah.
them. And because I remember there was one particular person, for example, and I reached out to, like you're saying, and I had a conversation. I was like, I hope everything is all right, Charlie. It's been a while and things. The person didn't get back to me. I was like, oh, maybe the person is busy. I tested the person I think after 2 days. Then the third day I waited. So I think, but randomly we were having a chat about something, and someone was like, oh, I met this guy, and Charlie, he came to my place and blah blah blah. And I'm like, oh, when? So the time
It wa-
also somewhat synchronous with the very same time I also talking to the person, right? So I think
Yeah,
when 2 days later, I tested the person again. I realized the person was not even.
They haven't even ticked.
Yeah, it had not even taken. The person didn't even respond. Meanwhile, the previous one, he had seen them, but he never responded. So I was like, you know what? Let it go. I mean,
Let
like,
it go.
yeah, let it go. For me,
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit and wail or moan over that. So I just let it go. And I think months after the person tested me, asking me for something and things like that, I also didn't respond. That's what, maybe I may be petty, but that's who I am, because I think that if you do not have the decency enough and the courtesy, to respond to a text message even after a month,
Yeah.
then for me, I think, and when you have read, then it means, for example, that
You don't value the
you don't value
friendship.
the friendship and
Yeah.
you want to activate the friendship at your own convenience.
Yeah.
It hasn't worked out. There are a lot of people that me and them have been, we've not even seen each other, like I said, for a long time. But when you test them, they will respond. If they don't
They'll
see, they say, "Oh,
respond.
Charlie,
Yeah.
sorry, oh, in our
I'll
own
get back to you.
street language, oh, Charlie, I know Siam, we now we are the Siam, so I'll be sorry,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah." You acknowledge that.
Yeah.
Or what the person had seen, the person didn't respond, and then months after, the person comes back to you wanting to do something. Let me give you a typical example again, because I like to give examples because of my own personal experience.
Yeah.
So when I was in New York, there's a friend of mine who was doing his PhD, right?
Yeah.
He was doing his master, he wanted to do a PhD. So he came to me, wanted to have help with topics. So we had a conversation and I proposed a topic and I said, "Oh, this you can do." And I even did a 10-page draft and I sent it to him. And he came back to me and we had a conversation and we discussed that and things like that. And I showed him the materials to use as part of the resources.
Yeah.
Me, so he was there and I was like, "Okay, so you really want to do this, blah, blah, blah." So we had a conversation and we finished. I tested him, he saw it, acknowledged it. And then I think I met him at some point. I went to a different state to go and gather materials for a project we were working on in Detroit. And randomly, we bumped into each other. Randomly. And this is when I sent the thing to me after 3 months. He didn't even
Yeah.
acknowledge. So I tested him and I asked him, like, how's the whole thing going? He didn't respond. I
Yeah.
called him. I tested him again, didn't respond. And me, I was like, oh, in my head, maybe he's busy. He said he's going to apply for a PhD, so maybe he's busy or something like forward. So me, I was walking down the street. And then and I bumped into him randomly. And I saw him, I was like, "Oh, my guy, blah, blah, blah." He was like, "Oh, Charlie, I beg you, I need you, I need you, I need you, I need you." And this is after 2 months.
2 months that he's
Yeah.
refused to.
"Charlie, I need you, but I'm in a tight fix. I couldn't apply for the thing because of deadline, but, I want you to help me with this topic. And I realized I made a post about it some months ago, and if you can get back to me and give me some data and things like that." I really looked at him and in my head I was like, "You think, say, a fool or something, And I said, "Oh, okay, 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 okay. You don't worry, just get back to me. I'll test it." So I went. I think I stayed in the town for like a week, and within that week, I was also avoiding him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you test me, Charlie. What is your address? You say you send me the address. I'll look at it and I say, "Oh, I'll get back to you. I'm busy." I didn't ignore him. Then the following day, the sixth day, I tested me. I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, but I'm back in New York and I'm in the midst of something. I'll get back to you," and things like that.
That was
And it started pestering. And I realized that the relationship now is more about
transactional.
transactional than being friends, okay?
Yeah.
And I wouldn't mind sitting down and doing that for you because at least it will inure to your own academic whatever. And we like to see our friends flourish and succeed.
Of course.
But you never gave me that. You never respected the friendship. And for you, you think that if you can take it from me, then that's what matters to you as being friends. And I'm not going to get involved in that particular space.
Yeah.
And I also ignored him. And I think he went to tell some of our friends that, "Oh,
You ignored
you're
him.
testing me, blah, blah, blah." So one of them actually called me and he asked me, "Charlie, what the going?" And then I said, "Oh, forget about him." And I explained everything. Then one person like, he did the
Like, he
same thing
didn't
to me.
explain.
Then I realized that, okay, so for him, the friendship is relevant to him if
As and when,
as and
you
when he
do
feels like,
something for
okay, I
him.
can get something out of this guy. Not money, but I need help with A, B,
Yeah.
C, D. I'll test him, he will fix me out. I'll need this, this. personally, I don't. We all need support at some point in our lives,
Of
right?
course.
But
Yeah.
when the relationship we have is based on transactional platforms,
It doesn't work.
it doesn't work, and there's nothing I can discuss with you that
No.
will make me happy. Like I'm not friends with
Yeah.
you because of what I'll get from you or what you can get from me. Maybe there'll be a time I
Yeah.
may be in a desperate need to come to you, but that should never be the objective.
Yeah. Yes,
I should be
totally
able to
agree.
go through the brick wall for you if I can, without necessarily thinking about how much am I getting from
From
you
that person.
or from that person. It doesn't work
Yeah.
that way. So
Yeah.
for me,
It's
I
true.
think that is how I process things, and unfortunately, we've been in some situations like that, and it is what is happening. I have a
Yeah.
friend; she's like a sister to me, right? I love her to death, and me and her we talk and we share experiences, and she's been very open to people who are friends, and they've taken advantage of her. So sometimes I sit back and I look at her and realize that the people that she genuinely goes out for
Yeah.
only seek to exploit her.
Well, yeah, because of her good nature.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And
And
this is somebody who, if it's in
yeah,
their mouth, she will take it and give you, and then she
and
can
give
go
it
to
to
bed
you.
hungry, right? But I mean, there are some people who have made it their habit that, well, for
That's
us,
how they are. That's
that's how
how
they are.
friendship.
So they will take it.
Yeah.
So I mean, there are a lot of scenarios like that, but there are others too who are very amazing, like me and you, for example.
Yeah.
Up until even we met at the University of Cape Coast,
Yeah.
we never spoke. And
Yeah. We
and
never
like I
spoke.
said, when I was starting my journalism career, for example, and I'll
Yeah.
come to you and I'll ask you
Yeah.
about certain things, and you are more than willing to help
Yeah.
me and to teach me.
Because I'm a nice person.
Yeah. I see this girl. So it's my,
I say so
you know,
myself.
because you were and you were always polite to me.
Yeah.
You understand? And it doesn't change even till date. So for
Yeah.
me, I remember when you're getting married, you asked me to be there. I thought that was for me. It meant lot to me because that was your special day, right?
Yeah.
And then you acknowledge that, Charlie, this guy I've known, blah 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 blah. He has to
And you
be
made
there.
a speech.
And I made a
I have a
speech too. I
photo.
didn't just come. You gave me the platform to speak at your
Yeah.
wedding. You understand? So you realize, for example, that connection between us that we not even before I moved abroad
Yeah.
and I was in Ghana, like you said, we're still connecting. You understand
Yeah.
what I mean? So for me, it is not so hard for the relationship to be like that.
But
Unfortunately,
why
you
do
may
you
not
think
also not
it's
have the
hard for
same with other
people,
people.
though?
Why you keep it like the way it is? Yeah.
Why do you think it's hard for other people? Because I have there are certain friends, or I have some friends that maybe some
Mm.
friends like you would text them and then it would take like a month or a week to reply, and then for me, what even sets me off the fact that they go like, I have been very busy, and in my head I'm like, you think that I don't have things to
I know,
do?
right? Yeah. I
So for
mean,
me, I always say that I count it a blessing. I count it a privilege when I see a text message or even a call from someone to say, "Hi, Mimi, how are you doing? Just checking up on you."
yeah.
Because not everybody will do that, but sometimes I find it really like heartbreak, for want of a better word. Like you text somebody and you don't hear from the person, or you call someone and the person just texts back and first line, "Sorry, I have been busy."
Yeah.
And then you ask yourself that you have been busy and they haven't been busy. But I also think that people also go on and say that, oh, I'm going through a lot and da 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 da, which is fine. But what you don't also seem to know is that the person also might be going through something, but then, well, they pick up a phone or they pick up a text and then they send it to you. So it's a two-way thing. But sometimes I'm tempted to think that it's a matter of priority. If I'm that important to you and I text you, you're not going to take a month to respond to my text, are you? Or you
No.
can, yeah. So I sometimes see that maybe I'm not on top of their list, because no matter how busy you are,
Yeah.
no matter how busy you are, you could respond to a text message and say to somebody, "Hello, buddy. Sorry, really, really tight for me now. I will give you a call very soon." For
Yeah.
me, if I receive that text, I go like, fine. You've acknowledged it. But then there are some people who wouldn't acknowledge it, and then it drags on. And the person who always do the checking in, it gets to a time the person goes like, you know what, I've had enough. I'm not going to do this again. And then the friendship then dies.
Yeah, absolutely.
Slowly, the friendship then dies. And then you go like, oh, Usa was a very good friend of mine, and I don't even know what happened. And then now we don't talk anymore. But
Yeah.
yeah, so it's a big thing. But then, from both of our experience, how do you maintain friendship? Whether through seasons of life, whether through challenges, I mean, whether through distance, how do you maintain that?
Well, I think
Give us your top
like
tips.
you're saying, is a two-way traffic with respect
Yeah,
to keeping it active. There are people that, for example, like you may not necessarily keep the friendship active and alive.
yeah, yeah.
So there's a group of people there. So you respect that and you disengage completely. And as and when they come in, you also respond. So they are there. Then there are those who are there
Yeah,
constantly, not every day speaking, but as and when you guys even engage, for example, that
yeah,
this relationship or friendship is still alive and is still active. And then there are those random ones where you are there, something will trigger something, and then the person will get in touch with you. So that those things are also there. So for me, speaking from experience, I'm always prepared for that.
yeah,
And so those are the things. I mean, apart from maybe school WhatsApp and things, I've not really been active on a lot of school platforms. But that's when like backdoor people get in touch and I don't see it and I see it, I always test. I say, oh, I'm sorry, I know see him. Right now I'm getting it. Then I'll test you. The person says, oh, I needed somebody's phone number, but I've gotten it. Okay. But where, for example, I'm active, like I said, our interest, hobbies, football, books, and things like that. And there are people that you've not even met, but you're constantly engaging them.
yeah,
And then randomly somebody could come back and test you and say, oh, A, B, C, D, and things like that. And you keep going. And for me too, I always acknowledge that people move on,
yeah.
and when they move on, they build relationships. I
Hold that
will.
thought. Hold that thought of people moving on. I think we deserve a commercial break now. So
Okay.
hold that thought about people moving on. I want to hear it again. So we'll take a quick commercial break and then we'll be back very soon. Okay. Stay tuned and listen to Everyday Podcast and don't forget to subscribe.
Everyday People. Real talk, no filter.
Hello, welcome back to Everyday People Podcast. And we just took a break and then we are back again. So back to you, sir. You were giving your thoughts about it. So if you can go on. Yeah.
Yeah, of
Bless.
course. I mean, before the break, I was talking about moving on, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so basically, what I was trying to say was that after those three layers that are set out, I mean, we acknowledge that people move on, they move into
Yeah.
things, for example, like career, so they forge friendship within that space, they are there. Like I said, interest, so they have those things there. There are people within their catchment area, within their communities that
Yeah.
they want to forge friendship with and stay on there and things like that. So those things are there. So you realize that that very early stage friendship, be it from secondary school or university or whatever, aren't active anymore. However, they may or may not exist, depending on how the two of you decide to negotiate through, because there are some unspoken rules or commitments within the friendship, for example, where
Yeah.
we know some of our friends are transitioning into different careers, some are into
Yeah.
politics and things like that. So the things they discuss, me, maybe if I have a conversation, for example, and then I'm raising issues that may not be in tandem with their political ambition and things like that, the generic nature of it,
Yeah.
may not take kindly to that, so the friendship may collapse.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I've seen a lot of that with people that you
Yeah.
friends with, and you knew from the fact that we are journalists and you've been friends with them, and even though like you moved to public service, but you are very critical because you're thinking of wanting to do things right is in a certain way. They may not necessarily think that is how it ought to be. So maybe you've been quote unquote in Ghana terms loud will rub off them in a wrong way. So
But then how do you maintain those friendships though? Because they
yeah,
are still
so
your friends. How do you maintain them?
yeah, so you know that. So let me give you a clear cut example of that. So you know, Kweku Bakoe and Kwesi Pratt, right?
Yeah.
So for those who don't know Kweku Bakoe and Kwesi Pratt, especially outside our jurisdiction, are two prominent Ghanaian journalists who have been around from the 60s till date, and they are in their 70s. Okay, and we're very critical. But then, with time, they've all drifted apart in terms of political conversations. Okay, so there are people who perceive Kweku Bakoe as being pro
Pro
MPP
P.
and Kwesi Pratt being pro NDC. That's what people think, but that is their positions. But they are all more like coming from the Nkrumah belly. You know, they
Yeah.
are Convention People's Party people, right? And for a long time, there was this speculation that they don't talk to each other. It wasn't true. And I remember when the two of them, for the first time in so many years, appeared on Good Morning Ghana. It was a political show. And they had a conversation and they revealed secrets about the fact that, look, they consistently engage and they are there for each other. And they said things that a lot of people were surprised.
Yeah.
So on the face value, you may think that they don't talk to each other because
But they have,
there was a
yeah.
major issue. I remember there was a coffee shop case and things like that. But their friendship is so active that is. I wrote a Facebook post and I said that look, this is a clear-cut example of why our views on things, irrespective of how much they don't tally with each other, ought not to ruin a friendship built many years ago.
Ages ago.
And,
Yeah.
and the two of them are a classical example of that.
Yeah.
And Mr. Bakun, I'm happy to say in all humility, is a friend of mine. Sometimes I can have a conversation with him and ask him about some things. You know, and for somebody of his pedigree, he will tell you that, look, if I disagree with you on ABC, and the disagreement is not about insult, but we are not friends, then there was no friendship at all in the first place.
Yeah.
So for me, that's how I process it. That, for example, like if we cannot be genuine with each other, even as friends, maybe something happens, it's not right, and I speak to you,
Disagreement. Yeah.
and I say, "Oh my God, child, this you didn't do well." Not in the in the presence of people, but one on one.
Yeah.
And you take it to heart and you disengage. Then there wasn't friendship anymore because if I cannot be
Yeah.
honest and open and transparent with you, then it's not right. Let me give you an example. Many years ago, I made a post. It was a very harmless post, and one of my friends called me, and she was like, and it was like, if you don't go and delete that post, I'll just come and knock that your head off. So I went back and I reflected again and I deleted the post. Yeah. And I sat back and I reflected, yeah, it's true because I ought not to have made that post, but I made.
Yeah.
But then the person comes to me and they say, Annie, I didn't expect you to do this.
Yeah.
My reaction would have been to get angry and say, but who the hell are you to tell me what to
Yeah.
write on my page? But I listened because the person meant well for me.
Yeah.
Others might have seen it and they will
Oh,
comment
you
and they will
see.
know. But she saw it like, no, let me just alert my friends. So, you know, if you are taking the feedback to me, who do you think you are? Who are you to advise me about something that I've written? But because it's my friends, like, no, let me just go in because it's a good friend, is the one who corrects you.
Yeah.
And she didn't come with to say, oh, you are quote unquote unintelligent to make that post.
So you're saying that one way that you maintain the friendship is by taking like feedback. If
Absolutely.
someone says something, you are happy to, okay, accept it and
Absolutely.
then
And I buy that. And
reflect
for
on it.
me, yeah, it for me it's critical
Yeah.
feedback and being and offering genuine criticisms.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's important. Because look, the
Yeah.
truth is, we cannot speak to each other
Every day is not
It is
realistic,
impossible.
is it?
Because look, we're all grown, we have kids,
We
our
have
priorities
other
are
things
different.
doing. Yeah.
I mean, a while ago, you saw how one of my kids rushed into some of the recordings, for example. So from morning to evening, you are engaged with some of this, and your head is
Yeah.
there. You know. However, when something happens and we need to speak, we also
Yeah.
make time to speak. So yeah, for
And
me,
it's
like
true,
those are the
as you said that,
non-negotiable.
and I
Yeah.
think one way of maintaining the friendship is like making time for meaningful conversation. As you said, you might not speak every day, but when the time demands that, the day or the chance, when you get the chance to speak, you should make that time count because you are not speaking every day. And I think that is one way of maintaining a friendship, because when you have that conversation, you can even catch up for over a year or so, things that have been
Absolutely.
happening in your lives. And I also think that, in as much, maybe not for too much for men, I think with women, if we think that something is not right, there's a conflict, I think you need to speak up. If you're not
Yeah.
happy about something going on in the friendship, you need to speak up and let your friend know that, look, I'm not happy, and please, can we address that? And I remember I had a friend, and her communication was so bad.
Yeah.
Her communication was so bad that I told her. She came to my house one day, and I said, you know what? I can't do this friendship again. And she said, I am so bad at communicating. I promise to do better. And she
Yeah.
she she literally told me that was her weakness.
Yeah.
So I said, okay, I text you. What do you have to do? She said, okay, I'll put my phone on this mode, and yeah. So she was struggling, even though she said, I know that sometimes people take advantage of that and go like, oh, I'm not good at communicating.
Yeah.
Nobody's good at communicating. It's
That's
just
right.
that we make the effort to communicate.
That's
So I
true.
think sometimes too, if there are conflict, you need to address it. And then I also want to say that sometimes you need to give each other grace, especially when the others are going through certain seasons of life, because someone might have a baby, they might have a new job, and things are not that easy for them. So
Absolutely.
giving grace to the person, and then you too, when the times come, the person also can give grace to you as well. Yes. And as I said, communicate. Thank God now we have so many outlets. I mean, what happens? We go WhatsApp, Instagram, TikTok. So you see, you can really, really communicate with people. And I always say that you see your friend post something online, or even they've uploaded something on WhatsApp. You see people, they are looking at your page.
Yeah, of course.
They're not even going to put a like to say, oh, love heart or something. They'll never do it. But for me, if somebody is your friend and you go on the person's page every day, what stops you from going that, oh, well done, Osa, or just a little thumbs up for it? And it
Yeah.
shows your appreciation. Meanwhile, this person that has been going through your page and ignoring you, you see them on Beyonce's page and giving love hearts.
Yep.
Well, sometimes for me to show as a friend, you also need to show up for your friend.
Yeah,
It's not
that's
just
true.
about saying that, oh, Osai is my friend. So talking about that, all our friends out there, please, we are appealing to you that you need to subscribe and share that.
It's a must.
It's
You
a
need to.
if you are our friends, if
Yeah,
you
you
are
need to.
friends, please, we are asking you to do this for us. So
You need to give us
that's
a
just by the
buzz.
way. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
joking. No, I'm not joking. I mean
But
it.
they should.
Yeah, so
Why won't
yeah,
they?
and then I also say that, yeah, and it boils down to my third point, that celebrate each other. Look, if
Absolutely.
your friend is doing something, celebrate the friend. And it doesn't cost much to celebrate somebody by
No.
resharing their post. I mean, it's just a little gesture to do it, and it makes your friend looks good. It's so important that I read a post to say that you'll be amazed that when you start a business, the people who will help you grow your business are not your family and friends.
No,
They are
not at all.
strangers. And how
Absolutely.
sad is that?
Yeah.
There was a statistics, and that's what it's saying. It said friends and family do not help people grow their business. It's rather strangers. So I think that when it comes to friendship, we need to do better. I don't know if you have any closing remarks before we round this up, but this has
Well,
been very interesting.
well, I think you've said it all with respect
Mm.
to that, and I think, yeah, like I always say, you can't force friendship. If you want to, you
No.
will, but if you are prepared to, you also will. And I also think that sometimes we should also acknowledge that we may not necessarily agree on everything, and
Mm-hmm.
disagreement should rather strengthen the relationship. It should not, keep us apart. Disagreement, healthy
Yeah.
respect, and trying to value conversations and things like that. Because we may not necessarily be talking to each other every day,
Yeah.
but we should be honest, like you said, very open about reservations we have about A or B or
Yeah.
something like that. Because at the end of the day, if we are honest with each other and we are truthful to each other, then it means that we value the relationship or the friendship.
Yeah.
But we don't value it when, for example, we think that we can't be honest with each other and just,
That's not right.
and
Yeah.
eventually, I mean, it will collapse. And we need to communicate more,
Yeah.
we need to
Communication
communicate
and
more, and
it's
it's
key,
important.
isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
yeah, sure, sure. And also, the time I read somewhere, which I think many people, one thing that I live by with when it comes to friendship is that there is a friend for a reason, a friend for a season, and a friend for a lifetime. So whichever stage you are in life, and when that person comes into your life, remember that some people come into your life for a reason. They are
Hmm.
there to help you.
Yeah.
Maybe go through your education. That's the friend that you had in UCC or your uni.
Mhm.
They are supposed to help you do your prep, and that's fine. They came into your life for a reason, and they are friends for a season. That they'll come. Maybe you had your baby, you had toddlers, you go to toddler group with them, and that is your friend for a season. As soon as your children are old, you people are not friends, and then they are friends for a lifetime. They have been there through day one, and they are still there, not because you speak to them every day, but because you are still connected somehow. And so for me, that's how I see friendship, and then I live by. So yes, sometimes I do grieve if I have lost somebody that I think, oh, they were very close to me, but then when I remember this quote, I go like, you know what, it's all good.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. I agree with you. And just to chip in this, when you said that, I remember when we were moving here, one of our mates, you know her very well, and all this while I thought she was in the UK because back in Ghana we used to talk a lot.
Mm.
Once occasionally she would come in, we popped in. So one day I posted a photo and she was like, "Ah, I see you're in Germany," and I said, "Yes." And I said, "Yeah, are you visiting? Are you here in Germany for a visit?" She said, "No, I live here." I said, "Ah, all this while I thought you were in the UK." So then she was my like go-to person to ask questions.
Forget, yeah.
And look, she will tell me because I've come here, language at my age, I'm coming to learn language and things like that. She had the frustrations and things like that. She was like, "No, you can do it. A, B, C, D. If you need this, ask this.
Yeah.
You need this, do this." Look,
Hmm.
she she was so patient. Even now, till date,
She's
she'll
still there,
come. She
so
and the husband will come and visit the mother-in-law, and she'll pass by, and I'll test her. There was a time I had an issue with my ticket. I called her because I couldn't speak the language, and she called the people. But I
wow.
had a conversation. Unfortunately, we couldn't fix the issue, which it was rectified later. Yeah,
But at least she helped.
but she helped. And
Mm.
anytime I tested and I said, "Oh, Charlie, A, B, C, D." I remember when I was going to write my exams and I was asking her an aspect of the questions and things like that. They said, "Yeah, just don't worry about it. Just go be your part because they've given you some A, B, C." There's another aspect of the conversation, the language called Libel in Deutschland. That's living in Germany. And I used to struggle with it. And he was like, "You know what? Don't worry about it. Take the app on your phone every 5 minutes. Give
Hmm.
your time and do this and that. Make sure that you craft first 15. The rest of them, if you don't know, you just move on." And
Yeah.
I ended up having 30. I missed out only on one question.
I
And
see.
I scored all. So you realize that her guidance
Yeah.
was very instrumental in that process.
In that process, so at
Renewal
that
of
point in your
maybe
life, mm,
exactly.
that
And never
season,
in
you
my
needed that
life,
person.
exactly. Like never in my life ever thought, for example, I was going to move
Mm.
and come and stay in Germany.
Yeah.
So but when I came, she was more like the person that I could lean on.
Yeah.
And then when we came here, there was an issue that we needed to rectify our marriage, blah blah blah. One of my former colleagues at work back in Ghana, I was having a conversation with him, and I was like, "Oh, my cousin works at the Ghana embassy."
So she can
He
help.
gave me his contact.
That was it.
Smooth,
Mm.
smooth. Even recently, a friend of mine was here. He lost his passport. He contacted me, "Charlie, don't you know somebody in the Ghana embassy?" I gave him this guy's number. He gave me a TSL or something to go back to
Mm.
Ghana. So you realize how the thing is.
How? Yeah.
For me, I value friendship because
Yeah.
look, they are those light bits and pieces of the
Yeah.
things that will help us navigate through dark alleys in the unknown situations, for example. So for me, it's like we may not necessarily be talking every day,
Yeah.
you will definitely find space and expression within certain spaces. So for me, I
Yeah.
don't joke with them. We may not
Yeah.
always be talking, but I
Yeah.
try as much as possible to keep the relationship active. If also the other party also wants it. If you don't, yeah, we'll move on, and
Yeah.
yeah, there'll be no lost like bad blood or anything like that. Nah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. I totally agree. And I mean, friendship. There have been studies that says that good when you have good network of friends is it even adds to the quality of your life.
Absolutely.
And trust me, you might have your family, but your friends are the people that you choose yourself. You don't have a choice about who your family is,
No.
but friends can be there for you. Your family can be there, but there's certain times, as you said, you move abroad, you don't have your extended family there, and that's when you rely on these friends, and that's when they become, I mean, their support can be so much for you. So it's been an interesting one.
Very, very.
And we've really unpacked a lot. So
Hello.
thank you all for listening once again. You've been listening to the Everyday Podcast, and we've been talking about friendship and friendship, challenges of friendship through time, seasons, and everything that has to do with friendship. So I hope you enjoyed it, and we look forward to your feedback. And you have any questions and any comments, please bring them our way, and then we hope to see you in the next episode. Take care.
Absolutely. And we're on Spotify and YouTube. So don't
Yeah.
forget.
Don't forget to subscribe.
Ciao,
Thank you very
ciao.
much.
Thank
Okay.
you. Bye.
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 Everyday people. Real talk, no filter.